Hello, welcome everybody to Crypto Insight Series 4. I would like to welcome everybody who's here, our new listeners, our old listeners, subscribers, and everyone who's just been following us throughout this journey. For our new listeners, I would like to introduce Crypto Insight to you. Crypto Insight is a webinar series addressing all things crypto. We discuss core topics such as the application of technologies, as well as address legal and accounting inquiries within the industry. Our panelists consist of experts and enthusiasts eager to share their insights to help broaden your knowledge of the blockchain. So before we get started, I would like you guys to register for a chance for a giveaway, which are given an NFT. So everyone who subscribed will get a link, an email to claim your NFT, to your proof of attendance. Don't forget to follow us on social media as well, on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and also YouTube to stay up to date with the latest news. Yeah, no further ado. So I would like to so this series we're gonna be talking about the wild west of crypto legality. So it's gonna have some content about what are the current regulations, where regulations could go in the future, how to best protect yourself in the current environment, and so much more. And then for this, I have a special guest as QK. QK is the founder of QKI Consulting LLC, which was created to assist in creating sustainable and established businesses in her community by providing knowledge and tools to scale. It's amazing. QK have a lot of experience on the legal side of business. And well, you know what? Without further ado, let me just bring her onto stage and let her introduce herself even further. Hey, QK.
Hey, how's it going? How's it going?
Good. I'm doing good. How about yourself?
Doing good. Happy Saturday.
Happy Saturday. I'm
Yeah.
happy to have you here. Thank you for making the time to make this happen. Um, hey QK, I mean, can you tell us what you're gonna be covering today? I mean, I just don't want to take all the credit, you know. I want you to
Share the fun. Share the fun.
that's
Absolutely.
it,
Yes.
you got it.
Yes. So today I'll be talking about my love of crypto and mixing in some law, some regulations, and just some good key tips and need to knows about how to protect yourself or what you do when you get into a jam, right? I love the title of this being the Wild Wild West of crypto because technically that's what it is. We're very, very early. So anybody who's on here that thinks that, oh, I should have gone on in 2016 or oh, I'm late. You're not late. We're still very early stages, and I'm going to tell you why.
Amazing. Well, so I'm glad to have you here. Before we even move on, I just want to let everybody QK information will be below and down in the description of the video where you can actually contact her. You can have her link tree where you can follow her and actually get a consultation with her. Can you tell us about your business and how you're helping your community just before we get started?
Absolutely, absolutely. So, QKI is another baby project of mine. I feel like it's my child. It's about 4 years old now. QKI is basically a consulting firm that helps creatives, entrepreneurs, small business owners set up their businesses legally. So, I provide legal documentation, I provide legal advice for business structure and business organization, and brand protection, so that you're able to set up your business and protect it at the same time and have peace of mind about what you're doing. A lot of people are becoming entrepreneurs because business is just booming, and working at a job sometimes is just not the best option for everybody, and I'm so happy about that people are pursuing their dreams. But there is a system and a process in order to do that correctly. And so as a legal attorney and also working in legal compliance and regulatory law, I help people do that. Help people pursue their dreams is the way I like to call it, and I love it. So I've been doing that
Yeah.
for over 4 years now. So yeah.
Wow, look at that. I mean, if you guys haven't had the chance to watch it, go back to Crypto Insight Series 1, where you can actually learn more about QK and how she got started in crypto and all of that, right? That's so fun. But don't forget to follow her. It will be in the description of the video. And I'm going to be leaving the stage to you, QK. It's all yours. I mean, you
Yes.
take it from here. Thank you.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Thank you, Luis. I appreciate
No
it. Well,
problem.
yes. Well, hello, everybody. Happy Saturday. Oh, just a little twisting there, but happy Saturday to everybody. I know I said hello to Luis, but just greeting you all as well. Thank you so much again for being here and just taking in the information and taking the time to invest in yourself. You know, it's a Saturday morning. You could be a lot of other places, but yet you're here on this live stream. And hopefully you come back to it and it's something that can give you value over and over again, right? So that is my bio there, which I kind of went over all of my stuff. My link tree is there. I also have a podcast, and I share information on the podcast, information on my social medias about business registration, but crypto and regulations and just, you know, my nerdy little heart's desire. But as it says, I am the founder of QKI Consulting, and I love to assist people with pursuing their dreams. So if you are ever in need of a business attorney or someone to help you out in that regard, I would love to be that person for you. So let's jump right in because this is a beautiful favorite topic of mine. Like Luis said, if you watch the first one, I kind of go into a little bit of depth of what my story is personally and how I got involved into crypto. Today, we're just launching into the straight facts, okay? So is crypto legal? Now, cryptocurrency, one thing I like to always start with when we talk about is crypto legal is it is absolutely 100% a legal way of encryption. Right. So crypto stands for obviously cryptocurrency. But when you encrypt something like encryption processes, basically what you're doing is protecting it so that it is only seen by people who it is meant to be for. Right. So cryptocurrency encryption is a concept that is not new. Right. It's been around for a very, very long time, pre even Bitcoin and computer money and all of that. Encryption, cryptographic encryption was being used for security purposes, right? Crypto can be used for illegal purposes, just like money can be used for illegal purposes, but that does not then take away the actual substance of the use case, right? So just like a hammer is made to as a tool, right? But you could also use the hammer to do some damage, right? That doesn't mean that the hammer in and of itself is illegal. It means the person that is wielding the tool is using it in a way that is illegal or in a way that is unethical. So we have to also work on fixing our mindsets because I think a lot of time media will have you thinking that, oh, one thing is bad, it's bad, well, I'm not going to mess with that. I don't want to be associated with that. It's associated with criminals. And we take away the thought process that would actually go into that, right? Just because someone uses something for a use case that you may not want to use it for does not then mean the thing in and of itself is bad, right? So to answer the question in a long or short way, crypto is absolutely 100% legal, right? But I'm going to get more in depth with that, right? Because saying crypto is legal is a little bit of a misnomer in a way, if you will. And the reason I say that is because if you've been keeping up with the news on crypto, it's been real juicy. The tea has been great, right? The tea has been piping hot. So we've had the SEC put down and get down and dirty into crypto, and I'll talk more about that. SEC stands for the Security Exchange Commission, if you don't know. And there's been some cases lately that have stated, one, that the Supreme Court was doing things that they should not have done. But also with that, there is some other regulations that go into the next slide that I want to talk about as well, right? Which is crypto safe? Absolutely, crypto is safe. So cryptographic encryption is basically meant to move and on the blockchain, which I will also talk about blockchain technology as well. But basically, it is to move on the blockchain to get to the intended recipient. However, if you're on a public blockchain, you can see that transaction actually moving, right? You can see the ledger, which keeps track of your transactions, which means that you can kind of see what's happening, even though you can't actually get into whatever the person is sending to their intended recipient. It's only meant for them, right? So they have the code, they have the keys, they have the encrypted API code or key that is needed to actually get into said get into the blockchain for whatever it is, whether it's documentation, whether it's funds, whether it's going to be information. You have all of that within that encrypted process. So it does make crypto safe. As a matter of fact, this is why I love it so much. I believe that crypto is safer than money. safer than Tinder, right? And when I say Tinder, I mean like cash, coins, yen, euros, that kind of thing. And the reason I say that is because you take more autonomy into your crypto when you have one, you're responsible for making sure it gets to the intended recipient. So that would just be like you were sending Cash App and you picked the wrong cash tag. It's the exact same thing. You have to be, you know how you check your cash tag like 10 times to make sure, is this the person? Are you sure this is you? Can you just look at it again and make sure it's you? Right? The same thing kind of happens with crypto, because say you're trying to send it to one wallet and you miss a number, or you send it to the wrong person, or you send it to a person, but they are not doing with it what you thought. Now, one, everybody can see it, but it's on you to say, okay, I have to take on that responsibility. So crypto is safe, but it also moves responsibilities from institutions into the hands of the people. And to be quite honest with you, I think that's a really great facet of crypto, because one, it empowers you to take more autonomy over your financial life, over your financial literacy, right? And it puts more power into your hands about how you really want to spend your money, how you really want to save your money, how you really want to protect your money, right? Because when you go to a bank, there's a whole bunch of processes that goes into a bank, and there's a whole bunch of regulations that go into that as well, right? So crypto is actually a safer way to store and manage your money, because you are the person who is storing and managing it, right? It's not an institution, it's not a person, it's not even maybe zeros and, well, it is zeros and ones on a computer, but it is more of your zeros and ones where you can see it, versus a bank is doing most of the storing and most of the monitoring and most of the securing of your funds, and you just kind of go back and forth. Now, I can hear people saying like, okay, but why would I want to take on that responsibility? Why is it that I don't want to let the bank go ahead and do that? Why is it that I just don't, let things be? Well, if you've heard of a little thing called inflation and interest rates, these are things that are part of an institutionalized way of keeping money and the economy going. In that, you are also affected because there's other things that you are, I don't want to use a word such harsh as punishment, but basically the consequences of other people's actions on how they use their money directly affects what happens to you and your money, right? So if you're doing everything quote unquote right with your funds, and for whatever happens, a majority of the people are not, well now, and also maybe it's not even the majority of people, maybe it's a top 1% that has a lot of the money, or maybe it's a bigger institution that happens to make a bad business deal, or a bunch of institutions, right? Like the banking system makes a bunch of decisions that are just poor. Now this now affects you. Government now affects you, the politics now affect you and your money based off of the system that now runs that economy. So to a certain extent, absolutely, you have a bit more freedom with not having to think about how your money is stored and how it's done. But a lot of us, we kind of have taken the time, especially as an adults, right? We've taken the time to kind of learn how to use, monitor, regulate, multiply, store, and secure our own funds. And so maybe it's about time that we start taking on our own responsibilities here and moving into a space where we can kind of take over that kind of security. Legally now, when we're talking about who regulates it, that becomes an issue as well, right? Because like the title of this series, this is the wild, wild west of crypto. And the reason it's the wild, wild west of crypto is because there is not a lot of regulatory law. There's not a lot of precedent. There's not a lot of guideposts and guidelines as to how do we regulate this thing? How do we make sure that if hundreds of thousands of people start using crypto, start getting on the blockchain, start trading ETH, start getting into Bitcoin, how do we know that they're going to put all their money here and everything is going to go all right? Well, I would ask the same question about the banking system. When you go deposit your check, you are trusting that if you need to buy milk at the store, that check that you deposited is going to then turn into debit for you at the grocery store. But that doesn't mean that if you go in and something happens to said tender and maybe your check doesn't go through, you automatically assume, oh, something has gone wrong. It's not the bank's fault. Something else has happened, or it is the bank's fault. And now I have to figure out what's happening with the bank. What if you just got on your phone and you were like, oh, okay, I see that the check is not going to be made available for usage until this date at this very time, or I just need to wait a few minutes and then I can come back to the store, or I know that I'm not going to be able to use that funds for a certain amount of time. This is what we're moving to when we're talking about crypto, and when even more so when we're talking about regulation, right? Because in short, it can be regulated the same way that money is currently, but better, right? Because the big argument now that's going on with crypto is, what is it? Who is supposed to be regulating it? Is the Security Exchange Commission? Is it FinCEN? Is it the Commodities Trade and Futures Commission, right? Who is supposed to be actually regulating this? Is it property, right? Because you could look at it as property, because technically the way that property raises in value, it's an asset. So if it's an asset, can we look at it and regulate it like we regulate land, or should we regulate it like a security, right? Like a stock. Should we look at it as, okay, this asset grows over time, it gains interest, it moves in a stock market-esque way. So maybe we should look at it as stocks, like securities, or do we look at them like commodities? Right? So we're looking at it as like a good, like, okay, now this is something that you can acquire, you can use it to buy things, it has value, you can exchange it for other things, right? So there's NFTs, there's crypto, there's all of these things that kind of tie into this world. Who is supposed to regulate it? Who's supposed to keep us safe, right? So one of the things that I like to bring back to when we're talking about regulation, and at this point, even as an attorney, there's not a clear answer. There's honestly just not a clear answer right now. There's a lot of laws. There's a lot of people saying a lot of shiny things. Wyoming wants to be the hub, but Miami wants to be the hub. Maybe Oklahoma is going to be the hub, right? So there's a lot going on as far as what's going to regulate cryptocurrency. One thing I want to tell you as a retail user, as somebody who's getting into it newly, or somebody who's just wanting to learn about crypto in general, don't be scared to do your own research to look into what coin or what thing will be best for you. Because maybe as an artist, you want to learn a lot about NFTs and you want to know how that world works because that's your world. That may not mean that the SEC part of it, the stock exchange part of it, as much as you want to learn about the NFT, that may not concern you. Right? So you may be looking at it like, okay, if I'm getting into the artist side, I would like them to look at it as a commodity. I would like to look at it as an asset, because technically the value of me creating art in an NFT goes better if it's valued as an asset. It goes better if it's valued as, land, as something that may be like a commodity of some sort, versus it being looked at like a security. So there's a lot of different angles to look at as well. So I highly, highly implore you to do your own research. And to be quite honest with me, again, it makes my nerdy heart so happy that there are so many ways to look at the regulations. I don't think it's scary. I think it's exciting. Right? Because it's better than money, because money is just like, okay, we kind of cash tender, let me say, because I think cryptocurrency is also money. But when we look at money, but just not fiat, it's just not fiat currency. But when we look at money, we look at it like, oh, this is the way that it's always been. This is how it's always going to be. No, there's dynamic and new ways for us to move forward in the internet, right? So, and when I say that, there's older, more archaic regulations like know your customer, in my opinion, that goes along with banking. Anti-money laundering laws that are they're old, right? They're older. And when you're thinking about who and is going to be using money in the future, how we actually transact, a lot of the times we're transacting people to people. We're transacting person to person. We're buying things online. We're buying things in person. We're swiping our Square. We're tapping our cards, right? And this is where we're getting more into the modern use of money now. Yes, using cash is something that can always be done. It's simple. It's easy. You don't need the internet. However, we're moving into a world where Wi-Fi is everywhere. The internet is everywhere. You can plug a jump drive into a very small device and still be able, I'm showing my age saying a jump drive, a USB jump drive into a very small device and still be able to transact and do things. Right? So the world is moving. Our world is growing. The regulation has to keep up. It has to modernize. So I implore you, don't be fearful when you hear that there's not a lot of regulation. Be excited about these things. Be excited about being able to take on more autonomy and financial security in your life. Because as you get to see and put your hands on that, it's education. You're enhancing yourself by learning more about what actually makes money, what actually makes crypto, what actually makes, our economy move in the way that it is. And money is not everything. Financial literacy is not everything, but it is important. As we are moving in this world, and if you have kids, if you have people that are coming up under you, this is going to be super important. Knowing these regulations, knowing what's going on with cryptocurrency, not being fearful of a new and dynamic and disruptive thing, but being excited by it. We need some excitement. Okay. I know we just came out of a very tumultuous time, but I think even more so that brings you to being able to not only take care of your funds, but monitor and build it and multiply. And that takes financial literacy, which means it takes a little bit of research. And that's why Crypto Insight is here, right? We're here to give you information, insight, and just overall inform you and equip you with knowledge and information so you can make your own choice. I personally, I love crypto. I love blockchain. I love the technology. I love what's happening, but I can also admit that it is a bit off-putting, right? It's different. It's disruptive. It is not the same. Money, fiat currency, and cryptocurrency are not the same. They have the same use case, but they have totally different ways of how things are being used, right? So even for someone who's a bit more risk adverse, which I am more risk adverse, I like to hold, right? I'm a buy and hold girl. I like index funds. I like exchange, like using mutual funds, right? I will get bigger companies, the conglomerates, and kind of put them into one thing. So when it comes to crypto, I kind of started with the same approach. I'm not I was going to say a bad word. I'm not a person who uses a lot of alternative coins. Let's call them that. There's another word for it. Google it. You'll see what I'm talking about. Alternative coins. I was a big Bitcoin maximalist because, just to be quite honest with you, the people who taught me are Bitcoin maxis. And I know if you watched the last time's episode, you'll hear Ryan and Teddy talk about the different alternative coins, and they're obviously not Bitcoin maxis, right? But I say that to say this: you don't have to be super risky. You don't have to put all of your money in. You don't have to be just a diehard crypto person to get into it. Because when I started, I wasn't. I was a bit skeptical, not going to lie to you, especially as an attorney, right? There's not a lot of regulations, not a lot of law. What's this internet money, right? So I was very much drawn to hodling, right? Holding on for dear life. Okay. And basically what that is once you find a coin or once you see that it's going up, you hold, you buy and hold. You're in it for the long run. You're not in it just to, swing trade. You're not in it for the ecosystem. You're in it to just buy and hold. You're in it for the Walmarts, the Apples, that kind of thing. And so when you're thinking about bigger coins, obviously Bitcoin is a huge one, right? Ethereum is a big one too, just because of the proof of stake versus proof of work, and just the evolution of crypto. And it's already evolving, and it's so young. Right. And so we are just being able to watch history be made. And I think that's amazing. But anyway, hodling, which is holding on for dear life, just means, one, that again, once you find a coin that is something that you believe in, something that you want to watch and kind of ride the wave, you exactly do that. High tide, low tide, you're in it to win it. Right? You're not moving your coins around. You're not selling everything. When Bitcoin dips, you ride the wave. And when it dips, that's when you soak up. You get, I'm getting all this on a discount. Because just like stocks, it's going to rise again. It's going to rise again. So it's funny sometimes when people are like, oh, there's no regulation, there's no rhyme or reason. I'm not going to say that it follows the stock exchange exactly. But if you look at crypto and you're also into options, if you're into stock charting and all of that, you will see very close similarities. The main difference is that crypto never closes. So you can always be making money. You can always be hitting, sniping those tops or those bottoms. Like right now, we're in a decline. It's predicted to start moving in an upward motion maybe later on in the year, but we are going to see some dips. We're going to see some lows. We're heading into a recession. Economically, everything is going to follow that. So if you're looking at patterns and you understand how stocks work, hodling is one of the best ways, because you know that there's when times go bad, just like 2020 March. If a lot of people started watching stock exchanges and getting into it and things like that, because we were all at home. What else are you doing? But at the same time, you start to watch those patterns. So Apple is dipping, Microsoft is dipping, Amazon is splitting and dipping. You see these companies that have been here, tried and true, Coca-Cola, 3M, like these are standard staple, Johnson and Johnson, these are standard staple stocks that people build their retirement portfolios with, and they are dipping. So the same thing in crypto. If you know that you've done your research, you looked at the white paper, you believe in the project, and you know that this thing is undervalued based off of what the current price is in the market, buy it at a bargain, or just don't sell it. If you're going to sell, and obviously do a wash. Going back to the Crypto Insight that Ryan and Teddy did, gave amazing gems on ways that you can make more money, and also basically come against your losses, right? Because you want to have some loss in there to kind of mitigate your gains. So for tax reasons and for other reasons and things like that, right? So when you're holding on for dear life, you have a strategy, you have a system, you know that you are doing this for the long term, for the long run, right? And what is the goal? The goal is to ride the wave. The goal is to continue to build your generational wealth, build a nest egg, build the savings, learn about cryptocurrency in these times. I feel like these markets are the best markets. But when we're in a good season and everything is bully and we're moving up and everything is just strong, that's great, right? But you don't learn a lot of lessons, in my opinion. You don't learn a lot of lessons in bull markets. You learn a lot of your lessons in a bear market, right? You learn when the chips are low and the times are down and the stocks are red. Okay, we're not in the black right now. But that's okay, because it gives you time to, one, you're buying at a discount. There's some things right now that I did not think I would see ETH under 1,000 again. Like I thought those days, and now again, the same way with stocks. If you wait long enough, you're going to get in and you're going to get some bargains. Right now, I think things are on sale, right? So you can be greedy right now. You can get in there right now. Trading versus long-term holds. If you know what you're doing when it comes to trading, I think that trading is a great way to make money, because you can make money on the way up. You can also make money on the way down, right? So there's two ways for you to make money. If you're familiar with options, calls, and things like that, crypto is going to get you hooked, line, and sinker, okay? Because you're going to be able to make money all the time. Stocks, there's kind of a time limit. You can't always be clipping and sniping and going back and forth with your chart and your candles. With crypto, you kind of can. You pick your time frame and you go in and you can just print money. It's a money printer right now. Again, the regulation is going to start to get there, right? When we talk about the security exchange versus the commodity versus treating it like an asset, like land or such. So that's probably not going to be as lucrative, as big. And as time goes on, that's just what happens, right? We have to put in regulations. We have to put in guardrails, because if we don't, somebody's going to get scammed. Somebody's going to, blame the system for something that they did. And then, we're all at a loss. But hodling is one of the best ways, I think, to really, if you're risk adverse, to kind of still get involved, to still be a part of it. You're holding on for dear life. You're just holding on to the crypto that you got, and you're watching the patterns. You're seeing how things move. You're like, okay, I see crypto going up. I think I'm going to put some in there. Oh, I was right. Boom, now I'm up some. And you can keep doing that and still holding on to the bulk of what you have, instead of putting things into maybe a bit riskier of a coin, based off of the white paper or based off of how it's going to move or its use case or whatever, and then ride that wave as well, because you're able to get more value out with the lower valued coins, right? And when I say lower value, I mean lower price, not meaning that the value of the coin is bad. The price is lower. So when you put in more funds, you're able to get more value out that way. And again, right now, legally, there's nothing that's stopping people from doing that. Right? You just have to have the wherewithal and the thought process to know, okay, emotionally, I'm going to ride this out. And that's why I love hodling, because it teaches you kind of to take the emotions, in my opinion, it teaches you to take the emotions out of your stocks and emotions out of your decisions when you're thinking about your money, your finances, and just moving along in growth in general. Because you have to grow, and it's uncomfortable to grow sometimes. So what is blockchain? Blockchain is my true love, and I'll tell you why. Cryptocurrency wouldn't be cryptocurrency without blockchain tech, right? So blockchain is how we're able to see the ledgers, is how you're able to send your cryptographic encryptions from one recipient to another. It's done on blockchain tech. Let me tell you as well that blockchain technology has been being used for a very long time now, right? If you think about electronic gift cards, for example, your API code or key, if you've ever seen that, that's blockchain. API keys are blockchain. So basically, you, the recipient, get the key, which is sent on a transaction that's holding a ledger of a lot of other gift cards or gift keys, right? And that money is there for you to transact. So when you go into your store, whichever store that might be, the one I'm thinking of right now is Starbucks. When you go in and you swipe your little wallet or you swipe your barcode, boom, money comes off. You didn't change Tinder, you didn't do anything like that. And when we think of apps like that, when we think of gaming, right? When you buy things on your gaming, when you get your accessory and things like that, these things are being done with this type of technology, and we use it and it's fine. It's as if when we apply it to our finances or we start applying it to our big adult real life things, all of a sudden, oh no, it's scary. Oh, where's the laws? Oh, the criminals. You know what I mean? Like legally, we have to start thinking about, okay, what is this, a narrative that makes sense? Or is this something that we are actually going to be fearful of? And to be quite honest, there's no reason to be fearful. right? So I want you to look at the laws and the regulations and things that are said about crypto in a skeptic way, but also think of it in nuance. Don't just think of, okay, this is what they're telling me. Even me, okay, this is what she's telling me. This is what people are saying. I guess I'll believe it. No, do your research. If you're like, actually, girl, I was looking at mining and I'm not quite sure about that. Awesome. Do your own research and figure it out. And then let's talk about it. Let's talk about why you feel like mining isn't such a great idea or may not be safe. Same thing with regulations. Me personally, I don't like know your customer, which is KYC, which is what banks use to quote unquote protect other customers and to stop people from using money and banks fraudulently to basically further criminal acts. Um, Sorry, it's a little loud. I live downtown. But basically, that is what the law was put in place for. Now, really, in my opinion, the way it's used is for banks to be nosy. If they think that you're making a little too much of the money or you're doing a little too much, they're like, oh, whoa there. We need to see what's going on because we don't want to get in trouble. Now, on the bank side, I understand that because banks can get shut down, believe it or not, if too much risque transactions are going through their banking system based off of them not doing their due diligence. However, there's parts of know your customer that really, I mean, if you're making money and you're an entrepreneur, it kind of forces you to think strategically about how you're going to put your money into a bank. It should not be that way. You should just be able to make the money as long as you're doing it right, where you're not harming someone else. But you should be able to do that and move forward. With blockchain and with cryptocurrency, I believe that it puts a lot of the, it takes a lot of those man behind the curtain type situations down when it comes to institutions and banks. And it makes you realize, okay, this regulation was in place for this. Now, what I'm doing is basically being my own secure person, my own shield, and kind of making sure and surveying for myself so that if I decide to do this transaction, even if a bank thought it was a riskier idea, I can see it. I can make the decision. I don't need someone making that decision for me, right? When I say we're taking our financial literacy and education into our hands, that is what I mean. You don't need somebody to tell you, oh, you know what? I don't think that that's secure enough for you. And yes, a bank has had the time and there's expertise. It should be more of a consulting, more of a suggestion, not a mandate. Right? Not oh, well, we have anti-money laundering laws, which is AML, or the Bank Secrecy Act, which is BSA. And they use these laws to then make these decisions. And I feel like it is more, yes, it's put down in order, but it's also put down in fear. And it makes people real like, well, if I'm not going to be in control, why do I want to know about this stuff at all? You need to be in control. You need to know. You need to know, because when things starts happening, that's the only way you're going to know how to make a difference. So blockchain basically, like I said, makes cryptocurrency work, and it's an efficient and it makes it work efficiently and seamlessly, because we have blockchain that where you can do proof of work, which is the older version, but in the same technology, you can do proof of stake. And then in that same technology, you can do smart contracts. And then on that same technology, you can send documents. And so it just, and then you can keep track and you have a ledger. So you can have a private blockchain and a public blockchain based on what you're trying to do and what you're trying to accomplish. And none of these things are illegal, guys. None of these things are things that are going to get you in trouble. Again, you have to be on your toes when it comes to knowing your financial literacy and what's going on with your money. But in real life, you should be doing that anyway, right? You should know what's going on with your cash. You should know how it's moving, where it's going, how much, what are your fees, what are you being charged? You know, these are things that help you kind of have autonomy, have confidence in what you're doing, and be able to protect yourself and secure your funds, right? We're securing the bag. So there's more, right? Because blockchain has other uses other than just in cryptocurrency. Crazy, right? So I said smart contracts, and I said about documentation and information. But also blockchain can be used for utilities. Blockchain can be used to hold and store documents, right? Think about birth certificates and mortgages and things like this that are held in government or public body entities for security reasons. What if you could just send your mortgage to and put it plain, sign it, and it's in the blockchain, and you don't have to go find somebody, you don't have to go through a third party to hold it, these title companies and all of this. It really changes the game. As an attorney, a smart contract, it doesn't scare me that smart contracts could eliminate some of the things that I do. But what I will tell you is you're going to need me to interpret said things that are in the smart contract, but you'll be able to transact a lot easier and quicker. I think that's a bonus. And I think people who really are in their industry to help people and service people, just my opinion, like when things are made more efficient. They like when things are made easier for people. Being able to transact and not have to go to a bank all the time doesn't mean that bankers will become useless. It means that they're going to have a different type of role. They're going to have a different type of information and skill set where they're going to help people we're going to run into some issues and things that come along, right? You may send something, fraudulent things could happen. There's no foolproof way of anything. So let me tell you that right now. Whether it's money, whether it's cryptocurrency, there's nothing foolproof where you're just going to go through and nothing is going to happen. That is just unrealistic, right? But what is realistic is you having the option to be like, okay, this thing has happened. Now, what are my options? Does crypto and cash go together? Can I have my store of cash and have my store of crypto? Of course you can. Of course you can. You can if you want to. So if you still want to have, cash for bills and certain things like that, I know I do. But I keep the majority of the store of value in crypto because I also really believe in it. Even when it's low, even when it's in the red, I didn't go sell all of my assets. I didn't go sell all of, right? Hear me calling them assets. I didn't sell all of my crypto. I didn't sell all of my coins because I believe in the projects and what they are. And I believed in them back when things were good. I'm not going to stop believing in them just because the whole market is going down. So you have to have a broader view of the economy. Again, that takes financial literacy. Again, that takes knowing the laws or getting it with an expert like myself. I love this stuff. So I'm going to tell you all the time. There's so many things I want to go through. There was a lot of court cases that came down. There were some senators in Wyoming, women too, mind you, the two women who have been leading the charge when it comes to some crypto regulations that are trying to be put down. But at the same time, my problem with these regulations, and I'm just going to give you some of my opinion right now, is that they don't understand the space. They don't understand crypto. They don't have a love and appreciation for it. They're just like, we need to slap some handcuffs on this thing because it's getting a little crazy. Right? And it's growing like crazy, but at the same time, it's not for you to be fearful. It's for you to be excited. So the beauty is in the flexibility of being able to use cash and crypto because you don't have to choose. You don't have to choose one or the other, but understand as inflation happens, you're losing the value of your dollar all the time versus Bitcoin, Ethereum, Solana, DOT. These are the bigger ones here. Even with, before the whole situation with Terra Luna happened, you have to be able to look and see these stores of value. You're still at a better store of value with these coins, with these tokens, with the Bitcoin, with the cryptocurrency than you would be with a lot of the fiat that is there now. And that is just honestly bad management from a lot of parties. But over and over again, we've had this. And it's about time, right? So in the first one, I talked about how there's a lot of time that passes, maybe about 20 to 30 or so years, where we change over how we're using our currency, how we're using fiat, how we're transacting with each other, right? And it's about the time for us to start getting into a new form of currency, a new form of transacting. This isn't new. Right? Before we had more coins than we had paper dollars. Then we moved into a different type of paper that we're using. And then we moved into credit cards. And then we moved into transacting online like PayPal and Cash App. And it's all falling in line with that. So don't be so quick to fall into this fear mongering. Think about crypto as a new modernization and upgrade to fiat currency. There's nothing illegal about modernization. There's nothing illegal about basically having something that's revolutionized and disruptive. So what you have to be careful of is how much of the information and what you're doing with your crypto, how you're using it as a tool. And as time goes on, keeping up with the different things, I would love for you to keep following Crypto Insight and following us here because I love talking about the different types of regulations that are out there. But at the same time, make sure that instead of being fearful, you're just kind of looking at the news with an eye of skepticism. Whenever you hear these big headlines about, oh, the government is putting, their foot down on crypto. Well, what exactly do they mean by that? Because a lot of it is just regulation that looks a lot like what the regulations are for cash right now, which doesn't mean that crypto is going anywhere or it's not going to be successful. But what it means is that they're looking to have more mass adoption. I would tell you that Visa, a lot of the big financial institutions, JP Morgan, they've been holding crypto for quite some time. pre-2016 for sure, some of them. So you have to keep those things in mind when you're hearing the things you're hearing about crypto and you're wondering if it's legal. Look at who's holding a lot of cryptocurrency. If you see big institutions like Visa, JP Morgan, all of these banks, well, Tesla is something different. It's more innovative, but just the companies alone that are holding crypto, they're not just holding it just because, for fun or because they like it, some of them, but they're holding it because there's a store of value there, guys. There's something there that is going to transcend past what the regulations are right now. So as it is the Wild Wild West currently, it's not going to stay that way. So take this time to take advantage of getting as much information as possible, finding products that you believe in, and moving forward with using cryptocurrency because it's the future. It really is. And hopefully listening to this, you've kind of gotten a little bit more comfortable with knowing, when you hear the ABCs of financial literacy or financial regulation is what I call them. When you're hearing FDCPA, FCRA, which the Fair Credit Reporting Act, and the Federal Act over just debt collection and for different types of federal financial institutions, BSA, which is the Bank Secrecy Act, like I talked about, the KYC, AML, right? It's a bunch of alphabet soup out there, pretty much is what I like to say. But the thing behind all of those regulations and all of those serious sounding words is that they're trying to protect people so that more people can get involved and more people can mass adopt. And I think that that's a beautiful part of crypto. And I think that that's going to be a part of the modernization. So as much as there's not a whole lot of regulation out there, I don't think that there's going to be much more. There's not going to be a whole lot of years that'll pass before regulation starts to get in there. And I think clean it up and structure it. It's necessary. And those of us who have been in the space, we're used to, not having all of the safeguards and the guardrails and the training wheels of sort. But I think it's awesome to put those things there for people so that they can jump in and not be really fearful, but have more of a stability of like, okay, a peace of mind that like, I'm not going to get scammed. I'm not going to lose my money. But I think it's great. And I hope that this has been super helpful. And I also hope that this is giving you some peace of mind. I would love to hear your questions. And if you have in comments and your own insights, if you've looked into it or if you don't agree, I would love to kind of get into that with you, to talk to you about what it is that makes you hesitant. What makes you fearful of crypto? Is it the law? Is it something else? Is it that it's just new and it's something that you've never heard before? This internet money is very, very sketch, right? But at the same time, it's not, because it's just a learning curve. It's just a learning curve. So I do want to say, because I am a practicing attorney as well, that none of this is to be taken as legal advice, right? I'm just an attorney that loves crypto. All information and materials for educational purposes only, of course, because we want to just let you guys know that all of this is going to be on your own research. We're not forcing our opinions. We're not telling you what you should do or shouldn't do, especially when it comes to investments, right? I'm not a financial advisor, nor do I have any license of the sort, nor of a CPA of any sort. I'm actually really bad when it comes to numbers. I don't know if that's good to admit on this or not, but it takes work for me to get into crypto and make sure that everything is good. So again, just do your own research on this. Implore and ask your own financial professionals that are local to you. And I'm sure, a lot of local professionals, financial and legal, are not into crypto right now because the fact that there's not a lot of regulation around it. But if you can find someone who is, because of their own love for it, I think you'll be better for it. You'll be enriched by their opinion. So yeah, I hope this has been great. And I'll let Luis come back up here. Again, like I said, as an attorney, I do consults and I also help my own clients that retain me, but this is not to be taken as legal advice nor a legal relationship at all whatsoever. So don't say that your internet attorney told you that crypto was all safe and you could buy it and nothing was going to happen, because I will deny it. I will deny. All right. So thank you very much. I appreciate it. And Luis, I'll turn it over to you.
Oh, no, wait, where are you going? I still need you here. Well, I can tell you that was really a lot of content. I mean, like you said, we're in a bear market, and I mean,
Yeah.
there's a lot of advantages now. Like everything's on sale, and like you said, there, I really like there are a couple of things that I would like to echo again. It's like you said, like big companies like the banks are actually buying crypto, and you can actually see like Nike, Apple, and
Yes.
some other companies already trying to make their own type of NFT and use the technology on it, right? So crypto in general is just not the financial side of it. There's also a technology side of it where like you cover a lot of it. Like, you know, you said smart contracts and stuff like that. We also have
Absolutely.
DAOs. We got
Yeah.
we have the, you know, the whole metaverse and everything. So
Hmm.
it's just a lot, right? So it's just this is just the tip of the iceberg, right? And
Absolutely.
then there's like different type of layers, different protocols, layer 2, layer 3, and so on. And then
Absolutely.
there's gonna be more layers as keep technology keeps evolving and keep on getting better and better as the days
Absolutely.
go by. And then we want to be here, right? We want to be help you
Exactly.
learn about this so you just adopting this to your business, to your clients, or to just your personal
Hmm.
knowledge, right? So maybe you're starting something related with crypto and you're looking for someone to advise you and then here's QK, right? QK is your go-to for legal advice and a little bit of crypto consulting. How about that?
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
right.
Yeah, I love it.
Yeah, I mean, for me, it's I like I said, it's I'm glad to have you here in the panel. You cover a lot, and then just before, yeah, just before I let you go, QK, please, can you invite them to come and register here to Crypto Insight?
Absolutely, absolutely. I mean, we're going to be sharing so much information and just things are changing in the space all the time. I mean, I know I just talked about legal today, but there's Web3, there's DAOs, there's the protocols, there's so many things that are going on in the space. And so getting tapped in and registered with somewhere that you trust and the information is verified and you feel comfortable listening and taking in information from all of us, I think as the space grows and evolves, that's going to be an invaluable asset, right? Because there's going to be a flooding in the space of information and you're going to have to choose, just like how we have to choose with the news now, what actually is true and what actually is not, and how that actually pertains to you in real life, right? And so I think registering with something like what we're doing and what we're growing here, genuinely just wanting to share the education. You know, we're not asking for you to pay or join a subscription or become a part of our pyramid scheme of any sorts, right? We're just asking for, you know, you to get plugged in so that you're properly informed. And I think, say, getting plugged in right here is the best place to be. I'm a little biased, but that's what I believe. So following the social media pages from LCube
Yeah.
Studios, which they do amazing work. It is just a great place to get information. So definitely come join us. Come join us. You'll like it here.
Thank you, Q Kate. So I'm gonna take it from here. Uh, yeah, just once again, guys, everyone who's thank you for watching, everyone who's staying through towards the end of the Crypto Insight Series 4. Just once again, if you want to get started on building on Web3, you can go and get a domain on Unstoppable Domains. It's your crypto domain, so they're really cheap. You can go grab your name or your company name or any new projects ideas you have in mind. Just go scan this QR code and then just get your domain. It's like $20 and it's a one-time payment and you have it for life, and then it's there, it's just there on the blockchain. So there's a lot. On the next series, we're actually going to be talking about unstoppable domains and how you can actually integrate this to your domain. And so your company or your personal domain could be listed in crypto and how everything ties together. So stay tuned for that. So if you want to, learn more about that, just, follow us. And once again, I would like to take this time to introduce LCube Studios. We are a design and development studios. We turn your ideas into reality by creating a bespoke framework that is leveraged to build scalable products. We design and engineer to meet your business and technical specs. We like to make your framework. We just to add to that, we specialize on a lot of software solutions and design. So if you're looking to start a new project, you're looking to build an MVP. We work with a lot of early stage companies and like from different sizes. We got medium size all the way to enterprises. We can adjust with. That's our philosophy. We were able to leverage and adapt to any type of team, and then just build the solutions you guys need, and by just making that software and maybe the design too as well. I want to thank QK for making the time and for being here, for sharing this amazing content with us. Um, And then I also want to thank the team. We have Lucas, we have Tenzi, the co-founders of LCube Studios, who have been putting all this effort to make this happen. Yeah. Once again, thank you everyone. So happy to made it this far already. We're in series 4, so please subscribe, like, share it, and we hope to see you on the next series number 5. Yeah, bye bye now.